Good evening, everyone. So today I would like to speak something on avoidant attachment style or avoidant attachment personality. So we'll find this kind of people at a home itself, like people who are close to us. It may be a spouse, parents, or no, like a very close friend can be, or it can be a boyfriend, whoever it is, colleague, or whatever it is. Some people whom we find that no, they find it difficult to keep the attachment, or at some point they withdraw themselves. So most of the interrelationship problems that we face has root somewhere here. So it doesn't mean that these people are bad. It shows that no, at some point they feel themselves very, reluctant to be vulnerable or available to a person or to an emotion. So it is very difficult to remain attached to those people. So the better and worst foremost advice that we can give to people who are connected to attached to such people is don't keep attachment, but rather stay connected. Connection and attachment is very different. Attachment means we are dependent on somebody, we are obsessed about somebody to a point that we miss them really. Whereas connection is we accept the person as they are, where we are able to love ourselves and the other person at the same time. So when it comes to this avoidant attachment style, I think at some point we all follow this pattern in some way or the other. That we feel like emotionally available to some situation or some people trigger us. So this avoidant attachment people, they seem to be very selfish or crazy about themselves. Like we feel that they are focusing on themselves more. The thing is, they may be brought up in a home where their parents may not be emotionally vulnerable or wouldn't have an emotional expression. So they feel that better is to have a self space. And they fear rejection, that when people get close to me and know more about me, if they don't accept me, then I will be let alone. Or no, how would I be able to face that? That fear of rejection is where this avoidant attachment style has its root. So these people really scare connection. They are scary of connection. And actually I have heard many psychologists telling that whenever they are going through a therapy session, when you get into depth of the questions, what these people do is they distract this therapist telling some or other matters and some worldly matters, something about that room and something very different, praising therapist, and they distract the situation and keep it so funny and hilarious, so that they just wanted to distract the therapist as well as the person who's getting close to them. So this understanding their trauma is a very good way that the people who are connected to them can heal or forgive them in this process. Another thing is we have to be aware of our own attachment style. The first and foremost lesson here is being aware of your pattern. Second one is when you are aware, you have to acknowledge it. At some point, if you're getting close to people and then we are behaving so indifferent to people, and whenever we hurt them so bad and we are asking, what did I do to you? These people put forward such statements in the way that another person is hurt very badly, and then they question that person in such a way that they are wrong, that the person who's hurt is now wrong, and this person who has done all this is the right. So they make the other person feels wronged. And that hurt or trauma is beyond words. And these people have to understand their own pattern and they have to deactivate this pattern. Deactivating this pattern means they have to know that every human being has a longing. If you don't feel any longing or any craving for an emotional intimacy, or it shows that you are numb or frozen in some way. As long as you remain frozen, you will be emotionally triggered in one way or the other. So you have to understand your own pattern, and you have to understand that if you become emotionally available or vulnerable or uncomfortable, uncomfortable means when these people, when they are emotionally available to somebody, they mostly get uncomfortable on the fear that whether they will be rejected. So at that point itself, if somebody rejects you, it is not a matter of if somebody rejects you, you are less worth. It's all about defining our worth in terms of others' eyes. You should understand that you are much more than what other person can define you or other person can accept and reject you. These people should live from a space where they can tolerate, or they can turn uncomfortable, and no, they can turn comfortable in the uncomfortable situation. That is, even if the other person accept me or reject me, it is not going to make any difference in the way I am. And I am complete the way I am. I am enough. So these are the patterns that they have very deeply ingrained because of the trauma that they have gone through. Their trauma would be something very deep, which they themselves don't know the pattern. So they make themselves in a very safer space, like, I am not going to get hurt. So these people, know, moreover, you can feel that, I will tell you, you can identify such people, like they would be very good in relationship at one point of time, and at a point of time, they make you feel very detached. They disconnect with you, and they will find all the means to keep you very detached or very disconnected to them by putting forward so many dramas. Whatever they can do, they will do that. So recently, actually what happened is, in last 2 days, I was speaking with 2 or 3 people in this matter. And 2 of them are the people who are following this avoidant attachment style. Actually, they themselves don't know. They tell that their partner complains a lot. Okay, but the pattern is, these 2 people, these 2 men, they don't make themselves emotionally vulnerable to their partner. And at the point that these ladies are complaining, then he will understand. He is blaming that lady that she is being so sensitive and emotionally vulnerable. But the matter is, they are avoidant personality that is making this all trigger, which they themselves has to face it. And regarding those spouse, they also should know to manage it by rather keeping these men connected rather than getting attached. So in the other person, that person is emotionally available to somebody who is an avoidant personality. So that also keep this person in a very trauma mode, that whatever the medicines we give, she is not getting through it at all. So these patterns, understanding these patterns, we will be able to know way to keep some people close, whom to keep close, whom to keep in connection, whom to disconnect, and whom to detach. And moreover, the most important thing here is, when you understand your own pattern, awareness is a blessing. And this understanding pattern will help us to overcome it, change it, rather crush our ego. And we ourselves have so much of trauma and longing. Whenever we are facing it, there are a lot of changes happening. And the people who are dependent on such people, they have to be taking care of themselves, that they don't put themselves in so much of pain. Rather, they keep the relationship, even if it is your spouse or children or parents, whoever it is, keep connection in them, understand what they are going through, rather than getting attached and keeping yourself in trouble. So understand these patterns, I think it would help you all better. Thank you so much.